part of the day where we're going to dive into talking about advertising in your game and how that can help you, how that can be a tool to help monetize your game. And on stage with us today is Damon Marshall from Supersonic Ads, and he's going to be talking about some case studies of people who have done a good job of integrating advertising into their games in a way that's effective and creates a great experience, which is key to being able to effectively monetize your game or your game players via advertising. The other thing that I wanted to mention about Damon is that he worked his butt off in an advisory capacity to help put together the speaker lineup for this particular track. So I'd like to give Damon a round of applause to say thank you for all of the hard work that he put into this track. Thank you. And with that, let's give him 30 minutes of our attention to tell us about advertising in games. Thank you, Damon.
Thank you, David. Thanks, everyone, for sticking around. I know we're coming to the home stretch here, so appreciate it. I'm Damon Marshall, Vice President of Business Development for Supersonic Ads. We are an engagement-based advertising network, and we also operate Ultra, which is an ad server and optimization tool for engagement-based ad products. What I mean by engagement-based ad products, unlike display, engagement-based ads use tactics to get users to actually engage and interact with the ad, as opposed to display ads, which we all ignore. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the revenue opportunity that is in front of us, or we're in the midst of right now, and then take you through some case studies and some examples of what's working today. So the first question I want to answer is, why invest in a ad monetization strategy? I've encumbered a number of publishers and developers that are a bit skeptical about ad monetization. So I want to dispel all of that uncertainty by talking a little bit about a report that Mary Meeker gives. Many of you may have seen Mary Meeker's now famous Internet Trends report that she gives at the All Things D conference every year. And I found this slide very telling with what's going on in advertising right now. This is a comparison between the time that we spend on a particular medium versus how much advertising dollars are being spent in that medium. So if you see here on the left-hand side, print is generating or is garnering 23% of our advertising budget right now in the US, yet only 6% of our time is being spent reading physical paper. Radio and TV are somewhat equitable, but when we get into the online and mobile space, something very interesting is taking place. Internet still has a little bit of a gap to go, but when you look at mobile, only 3% of ad spend is going into mobile right now, whereas 12% of our time is being spent on mobile. So there's a huge gap there, and Kleiner Perkins is telling us that this represents a $20 billion plus opportunity in the US alone. The reason that only 3% of an ad spend is going into mobile right now is because there aren't really compelling products to solicit advertisers to buy into this particular channel. But the funny thing is that traditional online advertising, display advertising, isn't working. And if you look at the blogs in the advertising world, everyone's talking about how banners don't work. I pulled some metrics that might be telling to you with regards to traditional online display advertising. Click-through rates are 0.1%. Just to provide some context, I tried to find some events that were equal with regards to chances of happening, and apparently Bono has a better chance of becoming the Pope than you clicking on a banner ad. So the 468 by 60 banner, even worse, a 0.04% click-through rate. 31% of ad impressions never get seen or can't be seen by users because they're delivered in places that no one has access to. 8% of users account for 85% of clicks. Up to 50% of clicks on banner ads for mobile are accidental, and they're not paying very well. The funny thing is that banner ads are purchased 3 times as much as any other display ad format, despite all those poor metrics. And what this indicates is that there aren't better alternatives for advertisers to purchase. And I feel like in the games business right now, we have an incredible opportunity to provide the products that these advertisers are looking for. I just pulled this graphic from eMarketer, and you can see in 2012, banner ads were purchased almost 3 times as much as video, which was only 8%. So again, this illustrates a great opportunity for all of us in the room to create some products that advertisers will buy en masse. So what do advertisers want? They want your attention, they want engagement, they want to get noticed. You can employ this guy to be your spokesperson and plaster him all over your advertising campaigns, and you'll probably get recognized. But short of using this guy as your brand representative, what publishers or what advertisers are now talking about, and we hear it about in the industry right now, is native advertising. So how many of you guys know what native advertising is? Not many. Oh yeah, Eric, you know. So native advertising is essentially an advertisement that is delivered in the context of whatever the user might be doing. And the advertiser's intent is to subtly deliver that ad in a way that gets noticed but is not intrusive. So some examples of this would be a promoted tweet on Twitter. We've all experienced advertorial in magazines where an advertiser will write an article that fits with the magazine content, but at the end of the day, it's an advertisement for Mervyn's. Facebook's doing it with their promoted posts. But what I think is one of the deepest and richest examples of native advertising is in-game advertising. And just to show you the effectiveness of these ads, this case study by MediaBricks shows the fact that these ads dwarf any other type of display ad or ad unit that right now is being purchased in large quantities by these advertisers. And because as an industry, games is the most popular vertical in the app economy right now, we have the opportunity to provide the scale that these advertisers are looking for in order to generate significant revenue through these particular types of advertisement. So let's dive right into some case studies and some examples. So the first one I want to point out, which is fairly popular in our space right now, is the interstitial. And again, just to clarify what an interstitial is, that's an ad that is delivered during a natural break in the gameplay. So whether it be at the beginning during boot up, or in a level break in the middle of a game, or after a game is over at turn completion, you deliver an ad. So Chartboost was nice enough to share with me some of their secrets. This is an interstitial that was delivered by Kilu, a game called Subway Surfers that I'm sure you're all familiar with. Couple of things here. The first of all, this was an interstitial on the left-hand side, or your right, that was delivered at first boot. So that's a really good spot for you to deliver an interstitial. But the more compelling and interesting thing is they created a customized frame. You can see the outline of the interstitial is in the look and feel of the actual app. And just this subtle change alone accounted for over a 50% increase in eCPM just by doing that one little change. So if you're going to consider interstitial as one of your ad monetization vehicles, the ability to customize these ads will increase eCPM significantly. Just a little bit more from Chartboost. Their average click-through rates for these types of ads are 10%, install rates 4%, and eCPMs range anywhere from $2 to $5. And as I mentioned, best practices would be, again, delivering it first boot or post-game at the end of a round or a level. And then also leverage a reward. So when you're giving a reward to a user, that's a good time to potentially hit them up with an ad as well. We've seen really good effectiveness in doing that. NativeX also provided me some interesting stats. This was a case study that they put together. The same ad delivered two separate ways. So on the left-hand side, you can see the interstitial in I guess I'd describe as a plain vanilla version of the ad. But on the right-hand side, this was delivered in a game called Icy Tower by Free Lunch Design. And again, what they did was they dressed up the ad in the look and feel of the game. So their character is actually speaking about the advertisement. It's in the font that the game is actually written in. And they actually also used a tactic, an urgency tactic, saying, hey, your free app or your free gift is going to expire soon, so go get it. By doing this, their eCPMs increased 142%, and their click-through rate jumped over 220 or over 200% to 225. So you get the idea here. Don't just slap an interstitial in its base form. If you put a few of your own assets around that particular ad, you're going to see much higher conversion. I was sitting with Chilingo earlier, and so I wanted to pop this in as another example. We haven't deployed it yet, but when you go to Pixel People, but what they call bubble offers immediately rise on the front page. These are offers in the game, but a great idea would be to make a bubble as an advertisement. We haven't deployed it yet, but I guarantee that the engagement rates for that particular advertisement would be very effective. So that's another example. And then my friends at Aplift have a product. They're doing some pretty interesting things with a product they call value ads, which essentially prompts the user to pick a present out of 4 or 5 different gifts. Once they pick that present, they can unwrap it by scratching it with their finger. And once they unwrap it, they're presented with an interstitial or an ad to install an app. Yes, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, it's not really a gift because the app was free in the first place, but the numbers don't lie. By doing it this way, they generate roughly a 13% click-through rate. Average conversion is 16%, and eCPMs are $33 or so. These are metrics that blow away anything that advertisers expect with their current conversion rate, click-through rate, and engagement rates. Not to mention the eCPMs on this are very healthy for a display ad, essentially, or a static display ad. So these are, and the other piece to this is the user experience. Users are telling us by the amount of time they're engaging with these ads that they actually like them. So pretty effective. Moving on to rewards-based video. I took this example from Wooga, Pearl's Peril. The way they generate a traffic driver is very subtle. You can see here, again, on the left-hand side, an icon, again, in the look and feel of their game. And instead of creating a button, a generic button that says watch and earn, they've turned it into, again, a free gift or a surprise of some kind or creating some sense of mystery. That particular button can get anywhere from a 6 to 20% click-through rate. Once the button is clicked, a message by one of the characters in the game says, hey, watch this video and earn some currency. User clicks that button. They watch a quick ad from Pepsi. They close it out, and the message comes back. You've just earned some coins. Do you want to watch another ad or X out? These are very lucrative ad types, and again, very much in the context of the gameplay. These ads are getting anywhere from, I don't know, $10 to $15 on the low end eCPM, all the way up to $30, $35, and very frictionless from a user standpoint. So publishers getting paid, advertisers getting what they want, and the users are happy because they're getting rewarded. So win, win, win. Here's another example from Cartown. I love this example. What Cartown did for their mobile Cartown Streets is they built a drive-in movie theater for people to view ads. So essentially, a user would click on the movie theater, which is in the corner there on the left. The second screen shows the actual drive-in movie theater. User clicks play. They get a Fanta ad. They complete the ad, and then they click out, and they're right back in the game. Again, a very quick, frictionless experience for the user. And Cartown's telling me that this particular ad type also is generating around a $30, $35 eCPM. This is an example of small worlds, and I'm going to try to open a file really quickly if I can. Give me 1 second. See if this works. This is a little video which will give you an idea of what they're trying to do.
We're not seeing on screen. You gotta pull it to the
Oh, really? Okay, hold on.
pull it towards the wall.
All the way over.
It's on the
Not working? Uh-oh.
go the other way. We saw the edit. Oh, there you go. Oops, now it's gone.
Hold on. Always have some technical difficulty.
There we go. More further. Further.
All right, now I just have to hit play. Right down. Where's my... So you'll see that the avatar walks over to a television, touches the television, and up pops a few icons. They click watch as if they're watching television. And again, you see a video of an advertisement. In this case, it's generic Supersonic Ads. I guess that's my shameless plug of my company. But once the ad is finished, the user has the ability to watch another video. You see that they're messaged with, hey, you just earned some coins. I won't make you suffer through much more of this. But once you're done and you get your reward, you're right back in the game again. So now how do I get this off and my presentation back? Let's see if I can do that. Give me 1 second. Great. All right, so that's video. And again, eCPM skyrocketing, but a great example of how these particular publishers are embracing gameplay to deliver their ads. All right, so let's talk a little bit about hard offers. These are like, by hard offers, I mean offer walls or taking the engagement-based ad to the next level. Offer walls allow users to or engage with offers like subscriptions or surveys. The one thing I'll say about offer walls is one of the best practices is to use more than one provider. So this is an example of a publisher that's using 4 different providers in a tabbed format. We've seen that publishers that use more than one provider are seeing an increase of 10 to 20% lift in overall revenue as a result of using more than one provider. Just taking it a step further, highlighting offers, that your best performing offers in more of a pop-up fashion and maybe tagging it deal of the day is also a great tactic. By implementing something like this as a pop-up somewhere along the gameplay, this is amounted to about a 25% increase in revenue for hard offers. Another example is offering double credits or double rewards. This is a great tactic. It's usually for a short period of time, maybe 24 hours. When we run these promotions, we're seeing as much as 100% increase in revenue as a result of these short promotions. So very effective from an offer wall standpoint. How am I doing on time? All right?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Cool. So I want to take it to the next level with regards to ad monetization strategy. If you're really going to embrace a strategy, you're probably going to want to work with more than one provider. When you do that, it can start getting a bit arduous with having to manage multiple ad providers and multiple dashboards. So there are two approaches that are now emerging in the marketplace on how to deal with this. One is what we call mediation layer. A lot of companies out there are saying, hey, we can mediate, take all the providers, and what they do is they accept APIs from the various ad providers. They stick them in what I consider a black box, and then they give the publisher one cohesive product. This is probably a halfway of doing a good job of ad monetization. The problem is that if the ad providers don't have direct access to your inventory, it's much harder for them to optimize, and as a result, payouts can be much lower than if you were to use an ad server. What an ad server does is it gives total transparency to both the publisher and the advertiser. So everyone knows what's happening, who's performing best, and it allows each ad provider to compete against one another to get access to your eyeballs. Because what an ad server does is it optimizes each ad provider based on payout. So by using an ad server, you're going to get the highest payout, maximum fill rate, and you'll be able to see everything that's going on all in one dashboard. So if you're interested in ad serving, the companies that come to mind are DoubleClick, for example. We have our product Ultra on the mediation side. Companies like Sponsor Pay or Trial Pay, I think, are doing something in that line. But my recommendation is certainly to go to the ad serving route so that you can see everything that's going on with your ad monetization strategy. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of engagement-based ad monetization. The first and most obvious one is gives you the ability to monetize your non-paying users. Ads are friends of the non-paying community. They consume them en masse, and they pay, and they generate a significant amount of revenue for you. The second piece to this is as a result of giving your non-paying users rewards and currency and items in the game, it increases retention and engagement for those particular players. So it makes sense for you. So there's an added benefit in that your KPI for retention and metrics will go up as a result of employing an ad-based strategy. The other key here, or the other benefit, is by adding ads to your game, it gives you the opportunity to upsell an ads-free version of your game. So if you don't have ads, you don't have the ability to ask any of your users if they would like an ad-free experience. But that could be a very good upsell for you if you have ads in your games. Next, the ability to convert non-paying users to paying users. GameForge came out with a study earlier this year that mentioned that 16% of their non-paying users converted to paying users as a result of first interacting with these ads and getting rewards for free, and then getting further along in the game, getting hooked on the game, and then ultimately converting as a paying user. So there's a huge benefit there. And then finally, with the engagement-based ads, it's all opt-in. Users are engaging with ads on their own terms. There's no forced ads. There's no banner ads distracting anybody. So this is a true opt-in experience. So that may put to rest any objections you might have with ads getting in the way of gameplay. And then finally, I'll leave you with this. Think before you build. If you're going to embrace an ad monetization strategy, it's very important to commit early. I always say that if I could get the mind share of maybe one developer to really think about how ads can be intelligently integrated into the game, I think we'd come up with some really creative and innovative products that we can sell to the advertisers. The second thing is there's a multitude of ad products out there. So it makes sense for you to understand what products are out there and which ones fit your game. So if you have a free-to-play game that doesn't have a virtual economy, then you're not able to give a reward as a result of a user engaging with an ad. So that might prompt you to go more the interstitial route. Whereas if you have a virtual economy, maybe the more engagement-based, rewards-based videos or offer walls might make sense for you. And then the final point is treat different users differently. We're a data-driven business, so it's up to you as a game developer to identify your paying users and your non-paying users and treat them differently. For the paying users, you may want to hold off on delivering advertising, but for the users that you know are never going to spend a dime in your game, that's time to treat them to a delicious ad. So that's basically it. Thank you very much.
So apparently you have a fan club in here somewhere. Any questions for Damon? I did want to make a comment that in your case studies, you actually mentioned 3 of my favorite games, 2 of which are reasonably obscure.
Which ones?
The Icy
Tower?
Yeah, definitely. I love those guys. And the Pixel People.
Hi, my name is Alok Kejriwal. I'm from Games to Win. We have about 30 million downloads, so very active in the advertising business. Great presentation, thank you. Pretty much clarified for those who didn't know what advertising means. 2 questions. One is you talked about eCPM and click-through rates, but what about the RPM? Because one of the challenges we all face is the minute you start going to a chart boost or anybody, the fill rate always kind of crashes. So the RPM is what really looks like a more important measure for people like us who have millions of ads being served. And the minute you start doing customization, whether it's a customized container for a interstitial or direct sale ads, I think one point I wanted to make and get your comment was RPM. The other side comment was on the last piece on the mediation versus ad server side.
Yeah.
I think what's really missing is the RTB part, because on the real-time bidding, I mean, you can sit all day on your console and keep juggling ads between suppliers, but the point of the mediation is to fix floor prices and then to get the floor filled up, or then to have 3 people doing optimization. So the real medium solution is RTBs on mobile. And do you have a view on RTB?
So my company's strategy is exactly that. We're actually trying to create an exchange right now for engagement-based advertising. Right now, programmatic buying for traditional display ads is going bonkers. In fact, there are less and less direct buys. So we expect that the same thing's going to start happening now that the app economy is flourishing. So we have a product called Ultra, which is supply side right now, but we're building a DSP as well, so that advertisers can go in and buy these more effective ads in a scalable or programmatic way. Did that answer the question?
The fill rate. The RPM, the fill rate.
So fill rate, again, what I would say about fill rate is using an ad server will plug in multiple providers so that when your first provider doesn't have anything for you, you've got the second, third, and fourth waiting to go. And when you create a situation where everyone wants that first delivery, all the advertisers are going to try to optimize for your audience specifically so that they can get that first spot. As publishers, you benefit from that greatly. You'll get the highest payout and maximum fill rate as a result.
Thank you. Thank you, Damon.
That's
Appreciate all the help on the monetization track and a very well put together presentation.